What's up, YouTube? This is Terry with Tim Travels. I'm your host. Tim has asked me to fill in for him while he's on an extended vacation. This is our first episode, so we got a lot of ground to cover. Kind of an introduction, kind of tell you what we hope to do with our channel and what we think we have to offer. First of all, I'm a truck driver. It's not the only thing I've done. It's really my third major career. But one of the purposes of Tim Travels, other than sharing the adventure of being a truck driver, is to share a little bit about our country. I meet a lot of people, sometimes when I make deliveries, pickups, just in general, who know very little about the country they live in. I've met people in Ohio that have never been to Colorado, like they've seen it on TV. People that have never been to the Grand Canyon. I met people in Colorado that live outside of Denver, but have never been to the East Coast. So it's kind of a way to bridge that, share a little bit of what we see, a little bit of what we learn, and that's part of it. But I also want to do some stuff that takes me back to my previous career and share information with people that want to become truck drivers, which is pretty common on YouTube, but maybe with a little bit of different perspective. I also want to share ideas about how to become a business owner, how to run your own business, some of the pitfalls, and again, using my experience in my previous careers, give you some insight that you may not get from other truckers. Or other people that have trucking channels. Now, I want to give a shout out first and foremost, though, to the artists who have inspired us. And you may be saying, well, wait a minute, dude, you're on YouTube, you're not an artist. Well, I know that, but I don't have anything else to go with. So what I want to do is just give a shout out to the people that kind of have influenced me. Some of the channels that I watch, have subscribed to, have commented on, and just maybe you'll take a look at their channels too and give us some suggestions for what we can do differently, but in the same field that'll give you some of the answers you're looking for. Probably one of the first YouTube channels that I watched that was involved with trucking was Nick and Carla's channel. Now, Nick and Carla, if you've ever followed them or ever seen what their channel, it is a great channel. They're not in trucking anymore, so I don't watch them as much as I used to, but they had a lot of interesting experiences. They share a lot of valuable information. Another person that I watch all the time is No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I like Lyle's channel a lot. I talked to Lyle, and he has a great backstory as well as a lot of information that's useful every day for anybody that wants to get into this line of work. This guy Trucks is another one. There are a few others out there, and I'll give them mentions as we go along. But I want to be different, not just for the sake of being different, but to add value. That's our goal here at Tim Travels. So let me give you a little bit of my background, and maybe you will understand where I want to go and what we want to do with this channel, but also maybe some things will come to mind that you want to ask about. So without getting into too much detail and boring you with it, because we'll get into the weeds with some of this stuff as we go. I was career military. I retired from the United States Navy. I was a chief petty officer. I did a number of things while I was in. Two of the things that I did, though, that are always valuable to me are I trained recruits for 3 years at Recruit Training Command in Great Lakes, Illinois. And the other thing I did was I was on the staff of the Commandant and Midshipman. Let me roll my window up here. I was on the staff of the Commandant and Midshipman at the U.S. Naval Academy, and that was the last 4 years that I was in the Navy. But while I was on the staff of the Commandant and Midshipman at the Naval Academy, I also started law school. And I finished law school at the University of Maryland a year after I retired from the Navy. And I practiced corporate and commercial law for almost 18 years, 17 years, we'll say. And I gained a lot of insight into how small businesses start, how they grow, pitfalls they come into that cause failure, and also what to look out for as a small business owner. I've read, I don't want to say millions of contracts, but certainly thousands of contracts, and advised clients on thousands of deals, big and small. And I'd like to share that insight with you. I've also litigated a lot of cases. Again, contract law, commercial law. And I'd like to share information about those experiences that may help guide you as you embark on a new career, maybe even embark on a new business. I've also had the privilege, if you will, of working for several trucking companies. I worked for an LTL company. I worked for a company that's called a mega carrier. I've also worked for a medium-sized carrier, I guess, and I now work for a small carrier. And we'll get into those companies and what I learned at each of them, good and bad, and what I learned about the trucking industry, kind of the dirty little secrets, if you will, and some stuff that you may not think about. I'm also a very avid reader of recruiting materials from trucking companies. I've also fielded a gazillion calls, like any of you have, from trucking companies. So we'll get into some of that stuff because that's useful information for somebody that's maybe thinking about changing jobs, as I have done, or thinking about where to start or how to start. And we'll get into that too as we go. But I also want to share just information about how I do what I do and what my next steps will be. A lot of people have done that in the past, like say Nick and Carla, and it's been really helpful to me just to see their journey. Now, I might not follow in their footsteps or go down a similar path, but it's nice to understand what's out there. And that's my goal, is to help people understand what's out there and be informed. I'm of the opinion that there's no such thing as a bad job per se. Now, some people may disagree with me. People like Mark, the guy from Trucking Answers. He feels like certain things just make a job or a trucking company a bad place to work. But we all make decisions for different reasons. Everybody has different calculus about why they're doing something. And what I want to do is empower people and enable them to say, yeah, I'm going to work for this company. That's my plan right now. It's not the be-all, end-all. Because somebody that's been in the business for 30 years, they may know a lot about driving down the highway. They may know a lot about 90-degree backing into a dock. You know, they may know a lot about, doing maintenance on their own truck. But they may not know that much about their industry after all. They may not know that much about employment law or about torts, motor torts, or any number of things that they want to express opinions on. And unfortunately, sometimes people on YouTube are given more blame than they deserve, but certainly more credit than they have earned. And so I want to demystify some of the stuff that I've seen on YouTube and maybe dive a little bit deeper. I'm not here to give out legal advice or driving advice. I'll just tell you my experiences, and you can use that how you will. One of the first things that I want to talk about is the companies that I worked for. And so next episode, we're going to talk about those companies, my concerns with them, what I liked about those companies, how I got in the door at those companies, and what I would recommend for somebody at various stages of their career. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope you'll subscribe and take a ride with us as we travel. And I hope that you will comment, ask questions. And if you like what you see, keep coming back. So for right now, this is Terry. Y'all have a good day, and we'll be back soon. Thanks.